salon owner we work with has a Google business profile. Unfortunately, almost none of them have a Google business profile strategy. And the difference between the two is monumental. Right? It's the difference between a salon that gets a steady drip of, I found you on Google, calls and bookings, versus the one that's been wondering for 2 years why their booking calendar isn't fuller. Today's episode, we're going to show you how to be the first one of those two examples with an actual Google business profile strategy. Welcome to the Salon Scoop, the podcast that helps salon owners and salon professionals grow their business, boost their brand, and stay inspired. From salon marketing and social media to leadership and growth, we uncover the strategies and stories that move the industry forward. If you love learning, growing, and are serious about leveling up your salon business and brand, you've just found your new go-to podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Salon Scoop. Today's episode is a follow-up to one that we dropped 2 weeks ago, which had a broader picture of the 3 pillars of Google rankings as a whole. Today we're talking more about Google Business Profile and the trinity of things that you need to become a booked out salon. The good news is that managing your Google Business Profile that books clients takes only about 30 minutes per week. The bad news is that 90% of you out there listening are skipping those 30 minutes. And as a result, the algorithm is not showing you, right, to potential clients. I'm going to share with you the framework that we use with our clients. Like I said, it's called the Trinity: reviews, photos, and posts inside of your Google Business Profile. If you get these 3 things right, your Google profile starts pulling its own weight, right? And it becomes one of the most powerful free assets that a small salon can have, right? Because your Google Business Profile is completely free. Now, I want to make sure that you're not confused. Your Google Business Profile does not by any means replace your website. Your Google profile is actually the entry point or the gateway to your website. When someone searches for your actual salon name, they already know you. That's when they're going to see your Google Business Profile, right? And they're going to see your name, your hours, photos, reviews, services, and your website link. But many times people just do a random search, something broader like hair salon New Orleans or balayage near me, right? Or bridal hair Frisco, Texas. And your Google Business Profile is not going to appear at all, right? This is the job of your website to show up for those searches so that people can still find you when they're doing broader searches. But when they already know who you are, they type in your name, that's when they're going to see your profile. And you need to make sure you get a lot of things right? So because it can help you convert clients as well. And that signal, okay, to tell Google, right, that you are relevant, that you are fresh, that you are trustworthy, that signal comes from 3 places. And if you listen to our podcast from 2 weeks ago, the SEO playbook for small salons, you've seen and understood a little bit of the broader landscape. Today's guide is going to zoom in on that single asset inside of the Google Business Profile that does the most work. All right, so Trinity element number 1 is reviews. Your Google reviews are the single biggest factor in how Google ranks local businesses. But within reviews, there are 3 things that matter. How many? 3 things. The first is the count. How many reviews? More is better up to a point. Think about this scenario. A salon with 80 reviews and a 4.8 rating is actually better than a salon with 18 reviews and a 5.0 rating. Okay, so the volume of having 80 reviews versus 18 signals legitimacy. It signals trust. It signals authority essentially, and that you're a real sustainable business, and that's a key factor that we looked at in a couple of weeks ago episode. The second element of reviews that's important is velocity. New reviews need to come in regularly. A salon with 200 reviews from 2 years ago looks dormant. It looks like maybe they are closed and out of business. However, a salon that only has 60 reviews, but 12 of which came in the last 30 days, looks active, right? And as a result, Google ranks that accordingly. It's a key factor. The third component of the reviews is the content. What does the review actually say? And reviews that mention specific services are vastly more valuable than generic reviews that just say, amazing, had a great experience. The keywords inside of Google reviews, right, helps to feed that Google algorithm and match you, right, to be relevant with searches. So if you can encourage people to be a little bit more detailed when writing the review, talk about the service that they had, mention the city or town or neighborhood that you're in, that's a huge bonus as well. So all three of these things matter: the number of reviews, the frequency of reviews coming in on a regular basis, and the content of the reviews. Now, what you need to do from your standpoint is implement a review asking system, and you need it running all the time. We recommend 3 key components, okay, for your Google review system. First is having a printed QR code at the front desk that links straight to the Google review space, not to your profile, specifically to where they write a review. The second is just a quick one-line script that whoever's checking out your client, or even the hairstylist themselves or esthetician, right, mentions to the guest at the end of their visit. It's actually probably better coming from the service provider because they're the ones that have a closer relationship and can make that ask. If you loved your appointment, if you loved your result today, a quick Google review really helps other people like you find us. No pressure, right? No, 5 stars, please. You don't have to ask that. You don't need to give people a reward for writing you a review, but just ask. And most often people are willing to do that if you've provided them with great service. The third thing you can do is have an automated follow-up email or text messages sent 1 to 2 days after the appointment that says, thank you for your visit. We would appreciate a review of your experience on our Google profile, and have the link directly to the review spot. All right. If you run this system for the next 60 days, you will see phenomenal results. Just be consistent. Okay, that was Trinity element number 1, reviews. Trinity element number 2 for your Google business profile is photos. The photos on your profile are not just there for decoration. Google reads them, ranks them, and decides which to feature based on the engagement and the freshness. So there are 3 rules that you want to have in place when it comes to the photos on your Google business profile. Firstly, you want to upload them weekly, not a whole bunch of them in bulk and then not do anything for several months. 2 to 3 new photos a week beats 50 uploaded once per quarter. Consistency is what signals, right, an active business to Google. Second rule is to have a caption for every photo. When you upload through your Google business profile, you can add a caption to that photo. Use it. This is where you can incorporate keywords, right? You can write in the name of the service, the name of the service provider, the name of the city or town that you're in. Each caption is a chance, right, to feed Google keywords that will, again, let it match for relevancy when consumers are typing in a search in that Google search bar. Third rule, right, for your photos is to cover the different categories that Google asks for. Inside of your Google Profile Manager, right, you'll see photo categories such as interior, exterior, team, services. So each one of those categories should have current, high quality photos. Right? Those are the ones that you want to be updating. Even if you say, you know what, I have external photos. How many can I take? You could replace the old ones, put in a new one. Even if it looks the same, it just shows that you're updating it, and the latest one, will be seen by Google with a date stamp, as opposed to, yeah, I understand, the outside of your salon hasn't changed in 10 years, but take a new picture anyways, even if it looks the same, so that it's relevant and fresh for Google. Okay. So that is Trinity element number 2, how to master your photos inside of your Google Business Profile. Your third key component, right, of the Trinity is your posts. And this is the most, by far, underused feature in the entire Google ecosystem. You can post on your Google Business Profile the same way that you post on Instagram or post on Facebook, right? And it shows up a little bit towards the bottom as you scroll your Google Business Profile. Think of them as, Google's version of Instagram stories. Why they matter? Well, it's a freshness signal that Google weighs heavily. Your business is active, and very few salons are using them, which means this can give you an edge. This can give you the advantage that you need over your competition. The frequency that we recommend would be once a week minimum. Okay, and the content, right? There's a few different options. Try these 4 types over the course of a month. A service highlight, right? So highlight a specific service that you want to focus on that particular month, right? A nice, beautiful photo and a 1-line description saying the name of the service and the town, something about it. You can drive people to say, hey, you know what, book an appointment. There could be a mention of a promotion if you have it going on. The second type of content you can have is a team or an owner sort of note or profile, right? It could be a meet Lindsay, our newest hairstylist, right? Specializing in, lived-in balayage, color corrections in Saskatoon, whatever the case may be. It could be, if you don't have someone new, just feature somebody, feature the owner, right? Once a month, it's a nice thing to have that personal touch. Thirdly is you can offer a seasonal promotion or a seasonal hook. So whether you're around Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or Christmas or Black Friday, or just, it doesn't have to be with an actual holiday. Maybe you have a back to school special. It's an opportunity for you to feature something that's happening, whether it be gift cards or a special promotion happening in your salon. It's a great thing that you can do as part of your content rotation. And finally, the fourth content piece would be some kind of education tip. Education tips are always appreciated and just shows your expertise, right? And so those would be the 4 kind of key components that we would ask from a content standpoint, typically over the course of 1 month, 1 post per week, right? And each post should end with a clear call to action. You can even incorporate, I think, a button into those posts. So it could be, book or call, learn more, but don't waste that call to action opportunity. All right. A quick, before we talk about how you can sort of set your timing to accomplish these 3 things, I wanted to add one more thing about reviews and how to respond to reviews. It's one thing to be asking for the reviews and to be getting reviews, but your response rate is also a ranking factor that most salon owners don't realize exists. Google notices, and they see a salon that responds to every single review, whether it's positive or negative, as a more engaged business and a more legitimate one than a salon that ignores them. Okay, so here's the rule of thumb. Respond to every single review as quickly as possible. Okay, within 24 hours would be ideal. If you can't make that, 48 hours, 72 hours, but faster is always better. Every review you respond to. Secondly, use the reviewer's name and try to reference something specific, personalize it. So a generic thanks for the review is better than nothing, but it's not as good as thank you so much, Stephanie. We really enjoyed working on your color again, this week. Hope hope you enjoy the freshness. We look forward to seeing you again on your next visit. Yes, it's a little bit longer to write, but it makes a big difference. Okay, especially for people that are reading the reviews and then they see your responses and they see, wow, this is a really engaged salon. They seem to have a very personal human touch. That's the kind of place that I want to go to. Okay, so that is a key signal as well. Next rule of thumb for reviews is that when you receive a negative review, you do not argue, you do not get into an explanation of what happened in the detailed review. You always invite it to have a conversation offline. Okay, you don't want a long, lengthy back and forth about a negative situation. You want to not have too much emotion tied into that. So here's an example of what you could write. We're so sorry that your experience didn't match what we aim for. Please email us at, and you can enter in the salon email address so we can make it right. Right? It could be as simple as that. Or, please call us, and ask to speak to our front desk manager so that we can make it right, so that we can better understand, the challenge that you experienced. Future readers of these reviews, they're evaluating how you respond to these negative situations, right? Do you have composure? Do you have consideration? Or are you aggressive and emotional? Okay, so very important, again, respond to all reviews. The positive ones, a lot of people ignore them. They don't respond. They only respond to the negative ones. But if someone takes the time to write you a positive review, you should take the time back to just say thank you, right? Thank you, Stephanie. We really appreciate you as a customer. All right. Here is, to finish off, the 30-minute routine that you can put in place to really take your Google Business Profile to the next level and use it to your advantage. And again, step ahead of your competition. 30 minutes a week. Here's what it could look like, okay? 10 minutes, you upload 2 new photos, right, in that photo section. Whether it's photos of services, photos of the salon, photos of staff, okay? 2 new photos each week, 10 minutes max. 5 minutes, just write and publish 1 post, right, with a photo and a call to action that we talked about. Just 1 post per week, 5 minutes. You can take something you've already done on Instagram or Facebook. 10 more minutes, respond to any reviews that you haven't yet, okay? And if you've already done them, during the week, great. You don't even need to do that now. But at the very least, take 10 minutes once a week to make sure that you've responded to all reviews. 5 minutes, scan your profile, right, your dashboard, to just check if Google has flagged anything, if there's a Q&As or suggested edits to make. And that's it. You do that every Monday morning with your first coffee, your profile will be in the top 10% of salons, and the results will be astonishing for you within 90 days. Okay, don't ignore this simple task. Here's a couple things that you can track when you go to your Google Business dashboard. We'd recommend there's 3 numbers that you might want to be looking at on a monthly basis. The first is your profile views. How many people are coming to your Google Business profile? And is that number increasing over time? Secondly, either direction requests and or phone calls, right? This represents real world intention of consumers, right? These are bottom line numbers that actually lead to client revenue, because they want directions. They want to know how to get there because they're interested in going, or they're calling you probably to get, a couple of questions answered, but they have strong intention at that point if they're calling you, asking questions. And the third thing to look for in your tracking on your dashboard is your search queries. These are the actual phrases that people have typed before landing on your profile. This is gold, right? And it tells you what services are maybe most popular that you should be leaning into to add and incorporate more keywords, and also how you can be working on your website, right, as result of those keywords that people are searching for. Remember, your salon profile is a slow process, but it's compounding. The more work that you do, it kind of builds upon itself and it sustains itself over time, right? Once you are doing these small tasks regularly. Reviews, photos, okay, and posts. Don't forget that trinity. The owners, salon owners who win on Google aren't the ones who set it up perfectly once and then forget it. They're the ones that show up for 30 minutes once a week, every week for years. That's the entire strategy. No more complicated than that. Okay. Hope you learned something today. Google Business Trinity. Don't forget it. And if you want a free SEO audit, go to our website, www.salonsos.ca/SEO. We'll run a free audit to show you where you're currently ranking on Google and the most important keywords for your market, as well as some key areas within your website that need to be fixed. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great day. That's The Scoop. Thank you so much for listening to the Salon Scoop podcast. This show is produced by Salon S.O.S, a digital marketing agency by industry professionals for industry professionals. If you want simple and affordable solutions for any of your salon marketing needs, such as websites, client loyalty, Google search rankings, social media, or more, come visit us at salonsos.ca or on Instagram at salon.s.o.s. If you want to hear more episodes like this and help us continue to bring the industry great content, it would mean so much to us if you would support us in one of the following ways. Either share this episode with one other industry professional and rate the show on Spotify or write us a quick review on Apple Music. We want to hear your feedback. If you have follow-up questions or ideas for future episodes, please reach out. DM us on Instagram at salonus.s.o.s or hit us up on our website again at salonsos.ca. Again, thanks so much for listening. Now go get your hustle on, keep smiling, and we'll catch you on our next episode.